This program is brought to you by UCKG.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Last Hit program. In tonight's program, I want you to be very attentive to everything that you are going to see. Because once again, we are going to be showing you that there isn't a cycle that is unbreakable. There are many people nowadays who are living in a cycle of failure, a cycle of addiction, that once entered in that person's life or family, that addiction is destroying everything. Because that's exactly how the addiction works. You can't see the spirit of addiction, but you know when he is working in a person's life. Pretty much like a virus. I'm sure that at least once in life, you had a virus in your body. You can't see the virus, can you? However, you know when the virus is in the body because of the symptoms that you have. You have a lot of ache in your body. You have a lot of pain all over. You feel tired all the time. You feel like doing nothing. You need to be resting. And other symptoms that shows that there is something wrong with the body. So when you go to the doctor and the doctor identifies the virus is in that body, what does the doctor do? Give you Panadol just to ease the pain? No, the Panadol will not solve the problem. He cannot just ease the pain. He needs to find the cause, what virus is working, and give you the proper medication for that situation. The same happens to people who are a victim of the spirit of addiction. Well, you can't see the virus, the spirit, but the symptoms are there, that there is a spirit of addiction in that body. The person needs that substance or things all the time. They can't go one day without it. The behavior of the person changes. They start prioritizing their addiction rather than people they love, rather the activities they have to do every day. So the symptoms of anger, symptoms of anxiety, depression, if they don't have what they want, you know, they become anxious. They are always anxious if they are not doing what they are addicted to do or addicted of. And the symptoms are there, destroying the person's life, destroying the family of the person, or stopping the person from having a family, and they don't find the strength to overcome the problem. Why? Because all they tried didn't work. The problem is spiritual. You who are watching us now and you are a victim of a spirit of addiction in your body or in your family, learn that the only way to overcome an addiction, it is when the spirit of addiction is removed. And that's exactly what we do in our help center every Sunday at 3 p.m. all in Asia and Oceania, wherever there is a universal church, a silk center. We are going to do this treatment to set you free from such addiction. We are going to be praying at the end of this program with a glass of water. So if possible, keep it handy, because we are going to consecrate it together. And I'm sure that God's power will be manifested in your life. Let's watch now a story of someone who arrived in the church with an addiction. And this addiction took over this person's mind. This person was uncontrollable, because the addiction was controlling this person. But this person turned the situation around. When the spirit was removed, the person was free to live a normal life. This is exactly what could happen with you.
Many clinical rehabilitation centers consider addiction to be an incurable, progressive, and fatal disease. It sneaks its way in, and before the person realizes it, they are hooked. The consequences are devastating and deadly. Losses are unavoidable. If you're sick and tired of addiction controlling your life or destroying that of a loved one, don't despair. There is a solution for addiction.
My life was completely destroyed. I was a drug addict, I was an alcoholic, and I was a womanizer. I started the cigarette when I was 15, and then I started drinking alcohol, and then I started taking drugs because the cigarette and alcohol wasn't enough for me, so I started on the drugs as well. It was affecting me where it was like I was at that time feeling happy, but I didn't know that it was destroying me every day. But the drugs was killing my inside, killing my happiness, and I got to a point where I couldn't take any right decision. And then I got married, and got married twice, where I was doing the wrong decision and I cheated, where I lost both marriages and I lost my daughter. And I left all my families, my mom and my mother and my sisters, all my family are over there, and I came here to study. It started good, but then I started to take the wrong decision where my life started into drugs, because in Mauritius I was already in cigarette and alcohol, but here I started with drugs and the marijuana. But then later on it get worse, where I started on ice and I started taking cocaine as well. I was a smoker for every day. I was smoking every day, and I was smoking a lot where you could see my ribs. I was wasting a lot of money, like pretty much half of my pay was going into drugs. And when I got married, my ex had to control my money, where she had to give me for my needs and the rest she had to keep, because or else I would finish all the money on drugs and alcohol. And I had, and then started developing anger issues, where I started to smash things in the house. I left the house, and I was so angry that I left the house, and I called friends. No one was helping me, and I tried to commit suicide, and I was on the road by myself. One day my mom said to me, she's in Mauritius, she called me, she goes, "Owen, why don't you try the UCKG?" And I said, "What's UCKG?" And then she goes, "It's the church that I go for 11 years. She was going there for 11 years. And then she said to me, "Why don't you try that? Maybe they can try and help you." And I said, what is it? And then she goes, "It's the help center." So I started going to the church there, where I was still taking drugs, I was still on alcohol, and I started listening to the pastor. The pastor was telling me, keep coming, and you will change. And I didn't believe, because I was already at that time, I was a big smoker, I was an alcoholic, and I said no one could help me. And then one day, I started believing the word that they were saying, and I started changing. My life started changing, so I tried. So then I stopped, and I cut down little by little on the cigarette and the alcohol, and then the drug as well, where everything started to go slow, smooth in my life. And then one day, I said enough is enough. I kept coming to the church, and I was so happy that now I'm at peace. There's nothing, no urge of alcohol, no urge of drugs, no more suicidal thoughts, and now I am a happy person. I'm at peace.
Many people don't understand what happens in the mind of a person who is an addict. The drug addicts are very despised and very misjudged by society nowadays, because nobody really understands the mind of a drug addict. According to science, addiction is an incurable disease which is progressive and also fatal. And indeed, many people are losing their lives because of a drug addiction. But that's not really true that it is progressive and incurable. It is curable. It is totally curable. We've been having experiences here in the help center of people who arrived here after going to rehabs for many times and didn't work over there. All the time they would leave rehab, they would go back to the same drug, to the same problem, to the same addiction. Why? Because you try to treat what is spiritual, physical. But when you start treating the problem the way the problem really is, taking it by the way it is, which is spiritual, you will be able to be completely free. Perhaps you are watching me and your life became a nightmare since the day that an addiction entered your life. You, mother, who took care of your child with all the love you could, you worked your entire life to give to your children what you never had, and suddenly your children got involved with wrong crowds, and you notice a behavior change, and then suddenly you found out that the reason why they were changing is because they were hooked into something. And you try everything to take your family out of the addiction. We have cases of parents that go to the point of even sponsoring the addiction because they are afraid that their children will go out to buy drugs and the drug dealers may end that person's life. So they are overprotective and they don't know what else to do. That they end up feeding that addiction just to protect their child. But how much more can you take in this lifestyle? How much have you been working and wasting because of this addiction? Some families, they are totally destroyed because of an addiction. Perhaps you are a wife who lost your husband to addiction. Perhaps you are about to lose your marriage because of an addiction. And you don't know what else to do. That's why we are here for. I guarantee you that we can help you. If you come to the treatment of deliverance, the freedom from this addiction, and you obey what you are going to learn on the treatment, you receive the direction, you receive the prayer of the treatment, it's impossible that you don't overcome such a spirit. Because once the spirit of addiction is removed, the whole addiction, the entire problem is removed. And when I say addiction, I'm not saying only to drugs. There are marriages that are destroyed because of an addiction to pornography. The husband or wife were wasting too much time in the internet and end up coming across websites they shouldn't come across, and they are addicted to pornography. How many wives come to complain that their husbands stay at home all the time and they stay in the computer the whole night? They sleep throughout the day. They don't have strength to go to work anymore because throughout the night they stay on the internet. And always when the wife comes close, they do something else, but it's very suspicious. This marriage is getting destroyed. This family is getting destroyed. The man doesn't have strength to go to work anymore, all because he spends the whole night in the internet watching what he was not supposed to, but he doesn't have strength to stop. One of the most addictive things nowadays are the things that they find online. They are consumed by that computer. Sometimes it's not even pornography. There are others who are always over there online in gaming. And doesn't matter what the wife or the husband or the parents say, they are always gaming, always there. It's taking over their lives. Sometimes you search for reaction of these people online and you see when the parent remove the video game or the computer from them, it's like they are going to die. They scream, they shout, they manifest the spirit of addiction because it's beyond their ability to control. Those who are addicted to gambling, losing everything they have, hoping to get back what they lost, they end up wasting everything they have. So you see, addiction is not drugs. Any kind of addiction destroys a person's life. Any cycle of failure, anything that you are often doing but is bringing very bad impact in your life is actually destroying your life. Watch now one more story of someone who arrived here in the help center with a very strong addiction, but because this person went through the treatment and obeyed what this person learned here, the addiction left just as the spirit was gone.
Hi everyone, my name is Kesia, Miss Kesia. Before I came to the church, I was gambling a lot. When I finish work on a Friday, I come home, get ready, go to the club, and I spend a lot of money in the club. And I thought, if I go to the club, put my money in it, I will receive more money. But it was nothing to receive. It was a little bit, and then more money goes back. And after that, I thought that's how we're gonna live. I thought that's how my life's gonna be. All this sickness and all this gambling. I was addicted to everything, and I didn't know how to solve my problem. I thought it will go away. 20 years I was gambling, and nothing happened. But when you win a little bit of money, you were happy. I was happy. I was happy. I thought, oh yeah, I've got some money. I want this, I want that. But it didn't get all the money that I spent before. I didn't receive any money. How much money I spent was so much. I spent every night $500. Then one time was nearly $1,000. It was, as soon as I get my wages, I pay my bills, and then I go and spend whatever is left over. And then I said to myself, I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to go back to the club. But comes the Friday, I go again. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, most of the time I used to go every week at night. When I finish work, I go. And sometimes I come home about 3 o'clock in the morning, because I was sitting there trying to think, oh yeah, I'm gonna win some big money, but it was nothing. All I do was just spend, but nothing happened. The day I came here and got baptized, I stopped everything. I said, no, I'm not gonna go back to the club. I'm not gonna do anything else except the church. Well, my life now, since I stopped the gambling, my life is much better. I'm happy without gambling. My life is, I feel free. When I stopped the addiction, my life was a better life, and now my life transformed into a very good life.
Addictions, drugs, sex, porn, alcohol, gambling, pills, and any substance that dominates and controls one's life can be used by evil spirits to make any human being a slave. Those who are addicted are always conflicted with guilt and with the desire to quit. But those negative forces that convince them that they are not strong enough to resist or fight back always pull them back down. The person always ends up hating themselves for what they do or what they have done. But none of these remorseful feelings are enough to cause him or her to quit. They may even stop for a while, but at the first sign of trouble, the person sees the addiction as the only way to vent their frustration and a way to deal with their problems. This vicious cycle is nothing but the work of evil spirits. They push the person into problems and offer a quick and easy way of forgetting their problems. But when the effect wears off, they are worse off than before. It is evident that addictions are a sign of the presence of negative spiritual forces.
As you could see, a total transformation of life. You who want your life to be completely transformed, regardless of the problem we have, I guarantee you that we have what it takes to help you to overcome this problem. But how does it work in the process of total transformation? For your life to be totally transformed, we are going to remove the spirit of addiction and teach you how to bring into you the spirit of life, the spirit of freedom. The total transformation of life, not only overcoming one addiction, the total transformation of life will happen in you when the spirit of life, the spirit of freedom enters you. But for him to come in, the spirit of addiction has to go out. That's why it's so important, this treatment. That's why it's crucial that you stop everything that you are doing. Stop crying at the corners because of your family who is an addiction. Stop contemplating death or contemplating suicide because you've tried everything and nothing changed. Stop crying because of the problem. I'm showing you a way out of the problem. I'm showing you how to solve the problem. You have nothing to lose. When you come to the treatment of faith, the addiction cleansing therapy on Sundays 3 p.m., you will not be giving medicine. You're not going to be given a tablet or an injection. You are not going to be admitted here to this place. You're not going to spend a week here. All you need to do is to come, and you're going to take 1 hour of your Sunday. And this is the only treatment that you can actually do on behalf of someone. You who are a mother, a father, or children of those who are addicts, you can come on behalf of your family member. If in the beginning your family member doesn't want to come, you can start a chain of prayer. You can start fighting for that person. Actually, on this Sunday, this month is the month of sacrifice, the month of exchange. We are exchanging our problems, exchanging our lives, exchanging this life that we don't want anymore for a new life. This month is the month of life for life. Life for life. Is the month that you have the opportunity to receive the fire of God upon you. If you want to know more information about the campaign of Israel that we are going to have this coming Sunday now, you are going to contact us, you can inbox us, because this is the opportunity of your life. How many decisions you made upon people's word? Now it's time for you to do what God says. And just as God says and you obey, it is impossible that your life remains the same. Just as Elijah, he sacrificed, and when he called upon God, the fire came down. You are going to learn how to put your life on the altar, because you who are a drug addict, or you who have a family member who is an addict, you know really well. When you are into drugs, into an addiction, you gave your life to that addiction. That addiction controls your life. That addiction controls your family member's life. Because that person gave their life to an addiction. To the point that this person loses feeling, the sense of feeling towards people they love. So now what we are going to do? We are going to take our lives and give on the altar, 100%. It doesn't matter what your situation is or what you did. When you decide to take your entire life and put on the altar of God will take care of you. It is life for life. It's a total exchange. God doesn't care how your life is. He cares about you listening to Him and putting your life in His hands, trusting Him. And He will come with His fire and transform everything else. You who want to be part of this campaign, put your life on the altar for a new beginning. So you can inbox us now. We are going to give you the details of the nearest UCKG for you to contact, and you are going to get more information about this campaign. We are going to prepare ourselves to pray now. And I believe that the power of God will touch you wherever you are. So if you have a glass of water, hold it now, because we are going to consecrate.
In life at times, people and situations disappoint us. Have you ever given God a chance to help you out of your sufferings? Give God the opportunity to show you that He is capable and willing to help you. Close your eyes and open your heart, because now is the moment of prayer.
My Lord and my Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus, I just present this glass of water to you. Everyone who is praying with us, wherever they are in this country or in Asia, Oceania, wherever this program is reaching out to, let every drop of water be consecrated. Because there was one day that a drug was freely offered to this person. And since the first hit, this person can never stop. There was a day that someone offered the first trial. And since this person tried, that addiction became a part of this person's life. But now as we consecrate this water, just as that substance had a very big impact on that person's life, when they drink this water, all the urge, all the desire to take that drug will go away, because the spirit of addiction will be burned, will be destroyed. Your power is the medicine this person needs to be free. Therefore, I consecrate this water, determining the transformation of lives and families for the glory of your name. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Drink from this water now with faith. And believe that God's power is manifested in your life. Be free. Look at me now. The Spirit who is in me enters your body now and removes the spirit who is in you. A spirit who blocks this person's mind. Just as this person is looking at me right now, the fire that is in me enters this person's body. And I rebuke you, spirit of addiction, any spirit who blocks this person's understanding. And in the name of Jesus I say, get out of this mind. Be set free. Be blessed. Take a deep breath. You are delivered. Do you believe? I'm certain that the power of God will reach out to you. Don't waste time anymore. The addiction cleansing therapy happens every Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. here in Australia, in our headquarters in Liverpool, Sydney, but also in all the UCKG and Silk Center all over Asia and Oceania. If you have a problem in your family, start this chain for your family member. Stop crying. Stop waiting. It's time for you to act, because God has already done His part. Now He's showing you how to take possession of your freedom. Have a go. You won't pay anything. This treatment is free of charge, but you are going to have to leave your house and attend one of the UCKG. Okay? If you want to talk to someone, if you want to express yourself to me, I want to hear your story. Tell us about your addiction. Make your comment about the treatment, if you are doing the treatment in your nearest location. I want to know about you. And if you know someone with an addiction, share this link. It will be very helpful for those who are suffering.